Hi, this is Brad with Baker County Trash Pickup. It has been a few weeks since I've made a video. My family for 2.5 weeks has been swapping around Flu A. I get to tell you about what it was like to work 2 weeks while I was sick, how Jobber helped me to do that, the software that we use. But the first thing I want to comment on, the footage that you're watching, I think is from October, around that. Because of that, you'll notice a few things about the workflow, certain things that I still do, and then certain things that I don't anymore. You may remember I put a tool holder on the side of the trash truck where I can carry some tools with me. This footage is so old it doesn't even show that. And that's one of the biggest differences in the workflow is throughout this video you will see me tip the trash can and then I run the garbage truck to scoop everything up. The issue with that is it creates an uneven load because when the trash can tips, it just dumps right in the middle of the hopper. The hopper is the area where the trash falls. That results in an uneven load because there's more trash in the middle than in the sides. So one of the ways that I have improved our workflow since this footage has been filmed is adding that tool holder that can hold a mini hoe. And so that lets me push trash around. That's the most effective tool I have found to let me do that. I started off with a small rake, but that wasn't good for pushing. The tines just weren't strong enough. But when I tip the trash can, I can now push trash over to the far left side. I can pull it over to the close right side of the truck. And then when I cycle the hydraulics, the entire hopper bottom is full and level of trash. That means over the day I'm able to pack more trash in there, which obviously cuts down on trips to the landfill, so that's what you want. So that is something you will see in future videos. That is an update to the workflow, but in this video I just tip it and then run the truck to get the trash out of the way for the next one. A few things that haven't changed for the workflow. When I get out of the truck, you'll see me use my right hand on that handle, even though it'd probably be a little less awkward to use the left hand. I always have a glove on my left hand and I am holding my right hand glove in my left hand before I get out of the truck. I open the door with my right hand, I grab that handle with my right hand, I let myself out of the truck, I shut the door with my right hand, and then at that point I put that right hand glove on. So that's something that saves me a couple of seconds. It's something that seems like a very small thing, but what we have found is when you're up to 150 stops in a day, if you can save 5 to 10 seconds every single stop, that ends up saving you a lot of time over the course of a day, and it's only going to be more important to do that kind of stuff to save time where we can as we grow to 200, 300, 400 stops. There will be a few times you see me stop at the back of the truck with my finger on a button and I'm just standing there. When the truck is stopped, Kendall puts the parking brake on and turns the PTO on. PTO stands for power takeoff, by the way. That is a tool that is used to provide auxiliary power to trucks that runs off of the engine. When the PTO is activated, the hydraulics have power for the garbage body, and that's how I can lift the trash cans and smash the trash and compact it and all that stuff. It's because of the PTO. Kendall has to turn on the PTO from the cab of the truck. And then there is a button I press that is a fast idle button that speeds the PTO up and gives it more power and makes everything work quicker. I can't press that high idle button until the PTO is started. Well, I mean, technically I can, it just doesn't do anything. So sometimes I have to wait for a few seconds while she gets situated and turns the PTO on. When I'm done with the stop, I'll press that button again. That causes the PTO to idle back down, and it creates an audible change in the cab so that now Kendall knows, all right, Brad's done with the PTO, I can shut it off, I can pull the emergency brake, I can put my foot on the brake and get ready to go. And that saves us a couple seconds as well, versus me just getting in the truck and saying I'm done and then her doing all that stuff. Now the 2 weeks that we were sick, I gotta say, my wife really stepped up and ran everything. Part of that is possible because of the way that we've split the roles in the business. So my wife drives the truck and she also runs our Jobber software, which pretty much controls our whole work day. It does all our billing for us. Without that software, we would probably be spending at least half a day once a month for billing because we've got 140 clients now. So if you've got to run 140 invoices every month manually, I had to do that once because I messed up setting the jobs up and they didn't automatically process. It took half a day for me to fix that and to process everything manually. But then also think about how much time we would waste if we printed off lists that had hundreds of people on them, and we had to figure out, all right, now what order are we going to put those in, and what are the directions to the next one. Having Jobber lets us have one app that handles all that stuff for us. And I used to think you don't need software to run a business, and you don't if your time is not valuable to you. If you're going to keep a business very, very small, you can do stuff on pen and paper, and you can, run and get checks or let people leave cash under the mat. You can do that. It's just not efficient. The other issue comes in if you're billing your time out for $70, $80, $90, $100 an hour. If you've got a software that can save you a few hours a month, well, then that's worth $200 a month right there to save the time and then use that time to work on the business. If you've never tried software before, just pick one. Jobber does have a completely free plan that's obviously going to be very basic. Anytime we talk about Jobber, they give us a link that we can use to give you a free trial of a better plan, and then there's a discount after if you want to continue that paid plan. So just try it out, give it some time, see how it can save your business money, how it can make your business money, how it can save you time and headache. Because if we didn't have Jobber working those 2 weeks through the illnesses, it would have taken us a lot longer. It would have been a lot more frustrating. So that's the Jobber pitch for this video. Check the links, try it out. Don't use my link and just try the free version. I don't care. I just know if you get software in your business, you're gonna be happy you did it in the long run. I only had enough energy to pretty much sit in the truck and get the trash, which is really all I do anyways, but I was doing it a lot slower. I think we added about an hour to an hour and a half, which ends up being about 2 or 3 man hours because there's 2 of us. That's how much longer it took those 2 weeks because I was moving so slow. I just did not have any energy. For the first week when I was truly sick, I didn't have any desire to do anything except lay in bed. If you're in good health right now and you think about, I'm gonna lay in bed all day, you would probably say, that seems really boring, but that's all I wanted to do. I didn't even want to watch TV or anything because it was just unappealing to me to have some electronic device on that I would have to focus on, that my eyes would have to strain to see. It was a really weird feeling, but I just didn't want to do anything except lay in bed and sleep. So I was like that for a week. Then the next week, I started to feel better, but I still just didn't have much energy. I kind of wanted to do things, but I was just so tired that I couldn't. That is the first time I've been that sick in quite a few years. It made me thankful for the things that we've put in place. No! Well, I guess they didn't need it. Where Kindle is helping me with this business, where we have software helping me with this business. But it was pretty miserable, and it just goes back to a lot of the comments folks have said, well, what if this happens? What if you hurt yourself? What if you get sick? What if you throw your back out? I don't have a crystal ball, so I can't tell you what's going to happen to me. All I can do is go one day at a time, and when it's time for the trash route, how do I feel? What's wrong with me? What am I sick from? Is it possible to work through it? And then go from there. And so thankfully for the 2 weeks that I was sick and we had trash routes, I was able to work through it. It was absolutely terrible. One of those weeks it was cold and rainy, so it definitely isn't what a sick person should have been out in. But at the end of the day, I've got a responsibility to 150 people to pick up their trash, and I'm not going to kick that off when I don't know if I'm going to feel better tomorrow or not. I could feel worse. The weather could be worse. So we're just going to get it done, and it's going to be terrible, but that's what we're going to do. So that's one big difference in being an employee or having employees. If you own your business and you're the only employees, there's no one else to do the work. So you've got to figure out a way to get through those kind of things. And of course, the follow-up comments are going to be, well, what if it's something you can't work through? Well, we'll figure it out when we get to that point. So let's get you guys caught up on numbers. It's been a while since we went over them. The last trash pickup we did was Monday, January 27th. This was a lighter week. The landfill was closed the Monday before for Martin Luther King Day, so we picked up on Tuesday. That meant last week had an extra day of trash, and this week had 1 day less of trash. So last week was a heavy one, this week's a little bit of a lighter one. We have 141 clients and 159 cans that we serviced on Monday. That generated $1,381.50 in income for that week. Our expenses for the week, we have quite a few fixed costs that don't change. Insurance on the truck payment, the trailer payment. Fuel is really our only variable cost right now. That was $45.08. You can see the others listed. Our total expenses for this week, $669.88, which leaves us with around $711.62 of profit. On Monday the 27th, we left the house at 3:40 a.m. We pulled into the driveway at 11:13 a.m. That time includes about an hour of breaks for us. We have 2 bathroom breaks that we'll do in the morning. Each one of those is 10 to 15 minutes. On the way home from the landfill, we've started getting lunch, so that is another 15 or 20 minutes. We'll just pick it up and head home. But that time does include about an hour of breaks, which takes about 2 man-hours since there's 2 of us. That means we spent about 7.5 hours in the truck, which is 15 man-hours. When we take that and divide it by the $711 left over after expenses, we come up with $47.44 an hour. That's for myself and my wife. If we were only counting one of us, that would be a little over $90 an hour. But since there are 2 of us, and if you're looking at these numbers to try and get some information on your own business, that's what would make sense. That's why we break the math down that way. On this week, we dumped 5,320 pounds of trash. If we had to pay dump fees, that would be $79.80. Thankfully, the county picks up the tab for municipal solid waste that is generated from its residents. They do that because they are a member of the landfill that we dump at, and that's part of their responsibility as one of the member counties. So thank you for your patience over the past few weeks as I've been sick and had no desire to make videos. I'm going to try and get some point of view so that you can also see our updated workflow. So look for that in the future. And if you've got any questions, please leave them down below in the comments. I'll try and respond as quick as I can or answer them in the next video we have. But as always, thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate it.